My heart is a little saddened right now, y'all. I had to relive this Charleston church murder trial with Dylan Roof. One reason for that is because one of Biden's lawyers, right? She recommended pardon and clemencies for this man, for Dylan Roof, and she told the people in the Senate hearing that he had anxiety. That's why she recommended pardon for Dylan Roof. Let me let y'all look at this. Here you go.
The latest on Dylan Roof's murder trial, prosecutors revealed chilling images of him before and after his attack on an African-American church where he shot and killed 9 people. ABC Steve Osensami has the latest from Charleston.
Jurors are getting to see this admitted racist and accused killer at target practice. Police say 22-year-old Dylan Roof recorded himself at home using the same .45 caliber Glock he's accused of using in the shootings at this historic black church. Families of the 9 people he's accused of murdering in a Bible study sat in shock as an FBI agent testified that Roof went and staked out their church several times in the months before the killings. Police say a GPS device in Roof's car shows he drove from his home in Columbia to the church in Charleston in December of 2014, twice in February the next year, again in April, and then twice in May. Police say they also found a list of other black churches in the back of his car. Calvary Episcopal was one of them.
Yesterday I got a text from one of the parishioners here, and her words resonated with me. She said, "My Lord, it could have been a lot of things, but we count our blessings."
Investigators told jurors Roof had drawers and closets full of ammunition at his home.
Today we could hear from one of 3 survivors who says Roof let her live so that she could tell the story. The jury could get this case tomorrow. George.
That will be dramatic testimony. Okay, Steve, thanks very much.
Now, Dylan Roof said that he wanted to start a race war, right, y'all? And guess what church? This church, Emanuel, got so much history in it, you guys. Anyway, it tells the story of these 3 black men that purchased this land. So that story in itself debunks that Christopher Columbus stuff. These black men had always been free. They were never slaves. They built this church, you guys. Well, let me back up before they built the church. The reason they branched off on their own, first they were sharing some kind of Methodist church with some white tea preachers, and they were over these brothers. These brothers said, "Oh, no, this is not the way I want to worship." You know, they had their style of worship, and the brother had his style of worship. And then, okay, white tea think he's in charge. You got to tell them what to do. He going to threaten them if they don't do what he got to say. And the brothers got so fed up that they branched off and bought that land and built their own church. But guess who the architect? Y'all sit back and look at this. Guess who is the architect, and just how do Denmark, Vesey, yes, the revolutionary Denmark, Vesey, how do he tie into Emanuel? And I'm going to tell y'all, you don't think Dylan Roof did not know the history of this church, you guys, because he said he wanted to start a race war. And okay, let's just see this. Denmark Vesey, a noted member of the African church. Whose name, y'all? Denmark Vesey, a noted member of the African church, led a planned slave insurrection in 1822. After Vesey's plan was discovered, South Carolina state legislature closed all African churches from 1834 to 1865. Some church members continued to worship in secretly. Y'all already know that. Anybody black know that our people gonna find somewhere to worship. So they didn't worry about no legislator. Before it was in legislation, they were worshiping anyway. But rebuilding the legacy now. Remember, they had to branch off on their own from these white tea people, and they done purchased the land. Now, guess who they gonna contact? They gonna contact an architect, a famous architect, the most experienced architect in the South, rebuilding a legacy. And guess who it is? After the Civil War ended, the church re-emerged in 1865. Resilience, you can't keep us down. Church leader purchased the land where Mother Emanuel currently sits today. Now, they don't say that, but if you go read on deeply, they'll let you know that they were free people. Okay, 1865, church leader purchased the land where Mother Emanuel currently sits today. Denmark Vesey's son Robert served as lead architect for the church in 1872. Now let's hit that, y'all. Let's get this straight right here. This right here is history right here. Because most of these people come over here, they always call us slaves, that we slaves. But we were the architect of all these famous buildings going up. It was not no white tea man. If you ask all these immigrants, they go, "What a white tea man! Y'all just did the labor, but the white tea man was the architect." No, this is telling you right here, written down in history, that Denmark Vesey's son Robert served as the lead architect. He was the lead architect, which means there was people under him. There were other architects under him, building and designing structures. The AM. Okay, let's go. Let me just start with the earthquake, y'all. The earthquake of 1886 destroyed the church, but it was rebuilt in 1891. Now that's how we rolled back in the day. We rolled like that back in the day. You can't keep us down. We had resilience, right? We were a community. We exchanged wealth transfer among each other. Let me say it again. Now, the earthquake came in 1886, destroyed the church. But what did our people do? It was rebuilt all over again in 1891. The current building features original pews, floors, and stained glass windows from that year. The AM Church continues its mission of faith, community, and worldwide outreach, preserving tradition and ensuring that the history and tradition and the art is never lost. So y'all could see, he had a reason to target that church. And I was wondering today, who was behind Dylan Roof? Okay, stay tuned, y'all. This was going to piss y'all off because the Democrats and the Republicans had a Senate hearing about Dylan Roof. Under the Biden administration clemency and pardon went up for Dylan Roof and I think two other sadists. But anyway, you guys, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Now, I want my people, I don't want this to be no Democrat versus Republican. This is about human beings and how they feel about you. Now that woman is a lawyer that Biden hired. He hired her to do something. But anyway, she ended up trying to she ended up what she did, pardon and recommend clemency for Dylan Roof. Why she say? She said he was full of anxiety. What about his family members? What about the victim's family members? I'm getting anxiety right now just thinking about my ancestors just being slaughtered all over that floor. So you say that the original floors are down there, the original pews are down there. Man, I would just throw all that out. Because you know why? It's nothing original no more. All our ancestors' blood is soaked. And y'all know what? Our people came out less than 24 hours. I don't know who told them that, but who told them to say it, but they said they forgive him. And he came right behind them and said he not sorry. And he ain't gonna say he's sorry. He did what he had to do. So you guys know that Denmark Vesey was executed, I think July the 3rd, maybe about 1822, and in South Carolina for planning to help emancipate enslaved people. And then so now he's connected, like I said, to the church that Dylan Roof went and just demolished. Anyway, his son was the head architect, you guys. His name was Robert. He designed it, he led it, he supervised it. Yes, yes, yes. That's what our ancestors did. Yeah, they built and designed and they supervised. It was not no YT people. So y'all know back in the day, they used to have us in a little shack worshiping. But when we start emancipating and after the Civil War, building these big old churches, they got mad. And then the white tea started bombing our churches. I mean, they wanted to make sure you was inside of it, of course. But that's what they started doing. Then my BC son, Robert, was the most sought out architect there were in the United States. So now we're still in the Carolinas. Now in Salem, North Carolina, we got to talk about the brick maker George Black. They said that I don't want to give y'all the wrong information, but if I can remember, I was thinking that George Black built the first brick house. But anyway, let me go and say, but it was brick maker George Black who quite literally laid the foundation for the city we know today. Salem, North Carolina, he built all through that city, you guys. The son of former slaves, Black came to Winston in 1889 at age 10 and took a job at Hitchcock Big Yard, where he learned the ancient art of brick making, y'all. And then he was so good to even President Nixon. Some of them presidents now was honoring him. And also, he was traveling all over the world. I think he taught in Guyana, something like that. If I can remember, one of those African countries, he taught them how to make bricks. You know what? Our people is just so lovely. So he went over there to Africa to teach them how to make bricks so that they can have a foundation, a city, a modern city of their own. But I don't know if they utilize it. It don't look like Nigeria utilized his skills, but he really did go to volunteer his time, went over there to Africa to teach them brick making. He became a millionaire, you guys. Shout out to George Black and shout out to Robert and Denmark Vesey's son, who's the lead architect in building and supervising and planning Mother Emanuel Church, where Dylan will go in later and put a stain on that church forever. Okay, you guys, Dylan Roof jury sees images of his church mass shooting afterwards. This is written by Debbie Elliott, 2016, 10 years ago, that our ancestors was slaughtered. That's what I want to say. In Charleston, South Carolina, federal court Thursday, a jury got a look inside Emanueal Church in the aftermath of last year's mass shooting that left 9 black worshipers deceased. They were pow during Wednesday Bible study as they bowed their heads for the closing prayer. Prosecutors said Dylan Roof, a self-avowed white supremacist, targeted the church to start a race war. So our family members' blood is just scattered everywhere, y'all. This really hurt me because it said it was the most unnatural case of fellowship with this guy. They loved him. They embraced him. But yet, crime scene investigators show just blood everywhere. Just everywhere. Bullets scattered everywhere. Bodies everywhere. And one lady said that he left her alive to tell the story. Then you got 6-year-old daughter whispered, "Daddy's dead." "No, baby, no," her mother responded. "Daddy's expired." "No, baby, no." This is a Charleston church. They're getting ready to go to court. And, of course, Dylan Roof came up in the Senate because the Biden administration was issuing clemency, right? But he goes and hired his lawyer, and this lawyer includes Dylan Roof, right? So that's what this is all about. But anyway, you guys, my problem with our people, they so forgiving, right? Oh my goodness. That lady sat up there on that Senate. She was her name is Elizabeth Oyer. She's a lawyer. She was so cold towards Senator Hawley, because Senator Hawley was asking her, you're supposed to be the victim. What about the family members? You're no victim. But anyway, here you go. Why did you do it?
This morning, Dylan Roof will face the families of his victims again, a day after he offered no apology for killing 9 black worshipers at the historic Emanueal Church. "I'm not going to lie to you," he told the jury during a brief but chilling opening statement. "There's nothing wrong with me psychologically." Prosecutors showed jurors a journal Roof kept after his arrest. "I do not regret what I did," he wrote. "I have not shed a tear for the innocent people I killed." The first witness, the widow of the Reverend Clemente Pinkney.
"I think about him every day."
She testified that during the rampage, she heard Roof say, "I'm not crazy. I have to do this." Prosecutors played her 911 call as she huddled in a locked office. After hearing the gunshots, her 6-year-old daughter whispered, "Daddy's dead?" "No, baby, no," her mother responded through tears.
There's no one that has said an unkind word about Senator Clemente Pinkney.
2 of Pinkney's closest friends also testified. They want to focus on the lives lost, not the killer.
His life was not finished. He was still dreaming. It's been 18, 19 months now. You never get over it.
Also taking the witness stand, Reverend Anthony Thompson, the husband of shooting victim Myra Thompson, who sobbed as he remembered the love of his life. She was everything I had, everything I ever wanted, and my life will never be the same. Dylan Roof has chosen not to question any of the witnesses so far. The jury had found them guilty of 33 federal counts last month. Prosecutors plan to call more than 36 witnesses in the coming days before the jury decides whether Roof should be put to death. Katie and Mac.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez in Charleston this morning on this story. Gabe, thanks.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.
2,100 is going to die in prison as...
Oh, he's going to live in prison for a very long time because of you, because of your recommendations. And here's what you said in your memo of October 30th, 2024. You said that actually Roof is not a compelling candidate for clemency, but you recommended it anyway. Why? Because he suffered from anxiety, you said. Right? He suffered from anxiety. Did it ever occur to you that maybe the family of his victims might suffer a little bit of anxiety because he marched into their church and murdered them in cold blood because he was an incredible racist and he wanted to get on TV?
Sir.
Do you regret it?
I'm not going to comment on the record.
Do you regret it?
That I made to the
Let's talk about Robert Bowers, a man who regularly spews such vile hatred of Jews. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. He barged into a Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018 and he shot everybody he could find, killing 11 innocent people who were there to worship. A federal jury in Pittsburgh unanimously recommended the death sentence after finding him guilty on 63 counts. Here they are. They're his victims. Take a good look. You recommended clemency for this person who went in and killed these people just because they're Jews. The other guy killed people just because they're black. This guy killed people just because they're Jews. A jury recommended that he be sentenced to death, and you substituted your judgment for theirs, and now he's going to live. Are you proud of that?
Sir, what I am proud of is the fact that I took my job as pardon attorney extremely seriously.
Apparently not seriously enough. You certainly didn't take the victims seriously. Then there's Jorge Avila Torres, who wasn't just a murderer. He was a serial killer and a rapist.
Sir,
Here is who he assaulted and killed. He sexually assaulted and killed 8-year-old Laura Hobbs and 9-year-old Crystal Tobias in a Chicago suburb in 2005. And then 4 years after that, he committed another murder. He slaughtered a fellow service member, Navy Petty Officer Amanda Snell, in 2009 while she was in her barracks. That's what he did. And you recommended clemency for this individual, and now he'll live his life at the expense of taxpayers because you substituted your judgment for that of the American judicial system, jury, judges, the whole lot, and yet you're here to tell us that you're somehow a victim? I don't think so, Ms. Oyer. I think your judgment is astoundingly terrible. I'm amazed that this side of the aisle has called you, and I just ask my friends on this side of the aisle, do you agree with this? Is this what you want? Do you want these people to be pardoned and live at the expense of taxpayers for their whole lives? Do you want to excuse the murders of African-American churchgoers? Do you want to excuse the murders of Jews in their synagogues? Do you want to excuse the murders of these children? Because that's what she did. And now she's online hawking products to try to make money off of it. I see you've got your own website where you put your face on baseball caps and mugs, thelawyeroyer.com. You're trying to make money on this?
Sir,
This is unbelievable, Ms. Oyer, and yet you say you're a victim? These are the victims, and you helped victimize them. And what you're doing is wrong. I hope every member on this side of the aisle will repudiate what you have done, what you stand for. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, I assume that your questions directed at me were rhetorical and that you're giving...
They're not rhetorical at all. I asked you to respond, and you said you wouldn't. So what I did is I read to you what you have said. I quoted verbatim, and I'm happy to keep doing it. In fact, I'd ask now, Mr. Chairman, that this report, Restoring and Strengthening the Federal Death Penalty Report, be entered into the record. It contains information regarding Ms. Oyer, her recommendations, and the track record of all of it. The written records are here. I asked to be entered in the record.
It'll be Ms. Hoyer,
take a minute to respond if you want to.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. I, under President Biden, just like under President Trump, had a job to do, which was to make recommendations to the president about how to best accomplish their clemency objectives. I put the utmost effort into doing that in a way that was consistent with the interests of the justice system and all of its stakeholders, which includes crime victims, as well as defendants, as well as family members, as well as judges, as well as prosecutors, all criminal justice system stakeholders. The process that I presided over was one that was beyond reproach. What's happening now with clemency is an absolute
Well, child, y'all remember the guy that socked Dylan Roof in prison? He beat up Dylan Roof and became famous. People started sending him GoFundMe money for beating up Dylan Roof. But anyway, you guys, I just want to tell y'all that it's wrong. It's even wrong to even consider even Dylan Roof for pardon or clemency. Whew, man, oh man, a black life don't mean nothing.